Hi friends, it's Belinda here from Bee Making Joy, and I'm going to show you two color stranding and how I do it with one color in each hand. Now this project uses three colors, but only two are used in any one row. So I'll be working with the light blue this row and the dark blue, which needs to come up from the row below, so I need to twist the strand. There we go. So I'll hold the dark blue in my left hand, and I'll hold the light blue in my right hand. And I'll be using each color as it comes up in the pattern, drawing with my right hand and picking with the left hand. And of course that white yarn needs to be tugged up to snug it there. There we go. Throwing the right hand, and I'm picking with the left hand. I'm a little awkward because I don't usually do it on a table. I do it in my lap. So I'll finish out that row, and then I'll come back and show you how I do the purl rows. Now I've finished the knit row, I've untangled my yarn, turned my work, and I'm ready to start the purl row. I'm going to put my right hand on the blue, my left hand on the darker blue. And I always slip the first stitch unless I'm changing colors to make more even edge, because my first stitch is always looser. So fewer stitches works out better. Now let's twist that first stitch so that there's not a gap there. So I'm throwing with my right hand, and I'm wrapping with my left. And like I said, getting started every time is awkward for me, but once I get the motion going, I'm doing pretty good. But I do find I have to pay closer attention on the purl row so I'm not picking up the wrong stitch or tangling them. And my tension does change on the purl row. But hopefully if I'm consistent, the tension will even out in the entire fabric. But speed is not important. You need consistency. So focus on keeping your tension even, because when you're knitting or purling the two stitches, you're carrying the other color across the back. Those are called floats when you carry the colors across the back side of the work. And we need those to be consistent, even tension, because if they're pulled too tight, the fabric will start to bulge. We want our fabric to be able to lay flat. Of course the bottom's curling, but once we wet block that will stay flat.
Now if your color work pattern requires you to carry one color over a larger number of stitches, you'll want to do a little trick to catch your floats midway between that block of stitches. Otherwise, if your strands are too long across the back, either there's a potential for snagging, or they can tighten up your knitting too much. So I'm going to show you how to catch those floats midway through this color block. So the color that's being used the most in this row, I will hold in my dominant hand, and the other color in my non-dominant hand. I will knit a few stitches, and then every second or third stitch, I will catch that float. And what that requires is lifting the unused color up, knitting under it to knit that stitch. And now that color is caught. And then we carry on and knit the next stitch above it. So again, that's every second or third stitch we're going to catch that float by working under the float to catch it. Working back on the purl side, catching the floats is a similar step. Every second or third stitch, we're going to lift that float, work our stitch under it, and then bring the float back down, catching it. Now, if you caught your float too often, too frequently, you would see the other color coming through too much. So for this pattern, every third stitch is working wonderfully.
If you're finding this helpful, please click the like button and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. And if you're interested in these patterns, the link will be in the description box below. Thanks for watching and happy knitting!